STA Award in Swimming Teaching, Day 1. I was there first to arrive, mainly because I had about 2 hours of journey to get there and I didn't want to be late, and because I hate being late, so I always arrive everywhere before everybody. Gradually, the room filled with people. There was 12 of us, and the age was varied from 16-year-olds all the way up to 40-something-year-olds. I was glad that I wasn't the only person in their 30s this time around. Everyone looked a little bit nervous, which is understandable. But our tutor made sure she put us at ease as soon as it was possible. She went through a brief introduction and asked us to tell a little bit about ourselves. She handed all the learning materials and proceeded to opening the first lesson. We had a choice of using either a printed manual or a digital one. I would recommend that you use a digital one in this case, despite my personal preference of having something tangible in your hands. Digital version is most up to date, and it's probably the smarter choice because STA tends to update their materials very often. I think it's around once a year, maybe more. And of course, if you have a printer version, after a year or 2 or 3 might be a little out of date. Our tutor gave us a brief info and overview about the venue and explained about what to expect in upcoming days. She also mentioned that it's a good idea to get into the water and start teaching kids as soon as possible, even the same day, so we can get this out of the way and not have to build it up in our head as something that is bigger than it needs to be. So of course, each one of us felt quite nervous because of that, but at the same time, I think that was a smart move on her behalf. Most of the theory consisted of a PDF presentation on a big screen and the tutor walking us through and talking about each concept in detail. We would have to take lots of notes and fill in something called a teaching portfolio. Each one of us would have to deliver a fully complete and revised portfolio to sign off at the end. Now, this is a very intense course, and the volume of information can seem like a lot. Be prepared to work hard and sacrifice quite a few extra hours during the week for some homework and study outside of the regular course hours. From time to time, we would have to switch things up and work through the information and the learning in groups. Now that was quite helpful. It would help to break the ice and get to know each other. So in the end, we could help each other in the swimming pool or any other exercises. In this job, collaboration is key. Keep in mind that each tutor and course provider may have a different approach or style in their teaching. What I'm showing you here is just what I went through and to give you an idea of what to expect. Don't take it as a gospel though, because your course schedule or style or methods might be slightly different. We started out the theory part with safeguarding. It's not the most exciting part of swimming teaching, but very important. It's all about protecting children and vulnerable adults. It covers the role of a teacher, the qualities of a good teacher, and what are our responsibilities. We learned how to spot signs of neglect or abuse and what legislation or guidance to follow in case we encounter those on our journey. We talked about different types of swimmers and the relationship that swimming teachers build with the participants. We discussed how to safely enter the water, the teaching ratios of how many participants, how many learners a teacher can have when it's by themselves, water confidence, overcoming fear, and much more. Our tutor also gave us an idea of what to expect in the assessment quite early on, so we don't have to be kept in somewhat of uncertainty. I'll talk about this later on in this video. One of the things that stood out for me in this particular course is that our tutor answered all of our questions as quickly as they were raised to release that tension and get us settled and less stressed as we went along. She also preemptively reassured us that we don't have to stress about teaching butterfly, because rather than teaching it to kids, we'll be teaching it to each other. Around midday, we would go to the swimming pool for the first time and get our first shot at swimming classes. As this was a full-time swimming school, we would actually be working with existing paying customers of the school. The class timetable was clearly displayed and visible for everyone to see, and it consisted of names of our students, the teachers we would be assisting, and the group ability that we will be working with. At this stage, I must say that I became aware how important it is to become flexible with frequent schedule changes, not only through the course, but also throughout your entire swimming teaching career. It seems that last-minute schedule changes, no-shows, class covers, and substitutions are commonplace and unavoidable. Parents and their kids get sick, teachers too. And with any other additional and unpredictable factors, if you add injuries, accidents, and things like that, there is an absolute chaos to be expected within a swimming school. This can cause anxiety and add to what is already a stressful experience of going outside of your comfort zone and learning throughout the course. But my philosophy is, if you can get through your work in such difficult environment, it helps you build confidence and a stronger character for years to come. The regular kids swimming class duration is 30 minutes. 5 minutes of warm-up, usually games-based activity, then 20 minutes of main theme, usually practice of a swimming stroke, and 5 minutes of contrasting activity, usually something fun to finish the lesson on a high. During my first class, I was an assistant to another swimming teacher. It was a class of 3 beginner level learners. I observed her interaction and teaching style and asked a ton of questions. She also introduced me to the kids, so I also didn't have to stand there like a scarecrow for them. After the lesson, we got changed, went back up to the classroom for lunch, during which we discussed our experience between each other. After lunch, we went through the whole portfolio and presentation all the way up until 7 p.m. The first day was quite long and intense, but what I can say is that by that stage, all the nerves were pretty much gone. And although tired, we were already excited about what's to come for the next day.